I am curious about your Bitcoin predictions, which frankly, Mike, have been pretty spot on. And I'm not liking what you were saying before that you're selling tech. So please enlighten me.
Well, let's hope that there's an inverse relationship again with crypto and the stock market. I think we're going to see a little bit of a healthy correction here in equities, but at the same time, we are starting to see an inverse relationship show up because we're seeing a fairly strong rally back up from support, and the correction I was already kind of anticipating in crypto. So if I can share my screen, I'll kind of show you my updated graph here for Bitcoin. So I think we knew, well, for a while, if you recall back to previous episodes, I know that I was expecting a decent drawdown. We had hit the 0382 level on this recent retracement, and I still wasn't very happy with that. I was still kind of hoping for at least the 05 line. And we almost got there. So one more retracement. But one thing that I was also looking for was that we had made these 4 rejections in a downward trend, not quite broaching new highs, which was already kind of a strong indicator to me, right? That 4 times we had, or at least 3 times after the peak, we had attempted for a new high and never actually got there. So we saw a good retrace on Bitcoin, and since then we've crossed back over the 8 EMA, which is usually something I look for as a confirmation signal, and we saw price push back up. But the thing that I'm nervous about is this downward trend still. I want to see us get past this line right here because this could still represent a point of control on the sell side. And if we can't breach this and start to peg a new high, I would be concerned that we're not breaking into a new level. That said, we've had a couple of indicators I know that we've focused on over time, and one of them is the global liquidity index. We had hit kind of, even in this zone here, we kind of hit this high, but recently we've been breaking past that, and we're starting to see a slow creep upward in global liquidity, which typically represents the cash on the sidelines we're hoping for people to start piling into assets that are performing while others are underperforming. So that's kind of my position at this point. There's a chance that maybe we reject this downward trend. We've got some cash on the sidelines. I don't think we're anywhere near any type of overbought conditions. We're kind of right in the middle at the moment. Year-to-date returns are kind of in line with what we would expect from crypto. So there's plenty of room for upside. And I think I've mentioned, when we typically have good seasons for crypto, they last, 2 to 3 years historically. So we're still well within bounds of seeing continued upside here.
Well, I'm not sure what to think here because we have this issue where this is my chart here,
Mhm.
um, where we have unemployment rate ticking up, but also the PMIs have been ticking up in different locations. It's almost like there's like just as much information about just as many points to say that things are going to collapse and be terrible as there are to say that they're going to be good. I also have this top trend line as being the series of lower highs that's disconcerting. I'd love to get above that level.
Mhm.
For me, the main issue here is that my wait, can you see my chart here? Yeah, I'm always looking for price to pull to one of these averages in order to actually gain uh, any momentum.
Mm.
And we never actually got down to where I was hoping it would get to, which would be currently around the 48 level. So there's not a bunch of for me. There's not a bunch of liquidity that it's actually uh, for it to bounce off of. So the only thing for me that could actually make this price go up is some sort of event, and I hate relying on just ex machina in order for the Bitcoin price to move.
But isn't it always interesting that events seem to coincide with those moments we're hoping for?
That's right. And so if that's going to happen at all, we should expect some event to happen around the 29th of July, which just so happens to coincide with month end, and then with the bullish flows coming back in liquidity. Plus, um, Bitcoin is a leading indicator or a coincident indicator with liquidity.
Mhm.
And so when we take a look, let's say at the dollar, what we see here is that, and this is what I was actually waiting for. Um, the dollar was in this bullish run, and then it broke and it came down, and it seems to be confirming the bearish trend. And if
Mm.
this happens and we're headed back down over here, well, then we're making new highs on Bitcoin.
Mhm.
which is 101, and that could still happen while overall the dollar is still in a semi bullish neutral trend, because for the dollar, I don't think we're ever really going to get back down below this level. Not really anyway. I think we're gonna be moving up to a higher level over the next 2 to 3 years. Um, Now, the issue is with the yen. I don't know if you've been following this story. The
Hmm.
yen has just been under massive pressure, just massive pressure on all these moves ups have been the Bank of Japan trying to, like, reinforce the yen, but this has, a bullish effect on the dollar, and so I'm hoping that they are. I know that who is it? What's her name? The Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen,
Hmm.
has been making visits to China, to Japan, and to the area in order to try to get dollar liquidity into that zone, in order to put downward pressure on the dollar and stabilize the markets and blah blah blah. And I don't like betting against central banks and treasuries. If they want to supply more dollars to the world, I think they're going to supply more dollars to the world, and that makes me bullish for liquidity assets and bearish on the economy. And so I feel okay with placing my bets now for Bitcoin, and I can expect that within the first 2 weeks of August, that's where I would expect the blow off to happen. But if it doesn't, I think I'm going to be shorting for or waiting for a buying opportunity from the second week of August to the end of August, and uh, and then buying dips from over the next from September to December, while putting on options from basically from September to the end of the election. Put in puts on the traditional markets on
Oh, okay.
SPY, Nasdaq, and stuff like that,
Got it.
because I think it's very likely that in order to get the push of liquidity that we want, the fiscal impulse or monetary, cutting interest rates or whatever it is, something has to happen. And if something has to happen, well, price has to come down.
Hmm.
And so to be able to get that 1-2 punch where you monetize puts, and then you use that money in order to go long, and then it rips long for the next year, as everyone's screaming recession in 2025 and all inflation's going to come back, that would be such a juicy trade.
I hear you there. Well, yeah, I think you heard it here, the bear case and the bull case for where crypto can go and where the traditional markets can go. Um, Definitely eager to continue to find new ways to explore the options market for some of these opportunities as well. If we could get a glimpse at what TradingView plans to do with options, I would get really excited here. I know there's a hint that something's going on, but I'm excited to see how that might expand over the next couple of months.